This workshop focuses on preparing you to serve as the fundraising vice president or chair of your PTA. If your PTA does not have a separate fundraising person, this workshop is essential for the treasurer. In addition to fundraising information, this workshop should also help you develop your leadership skills and provide information about the many resources available to you. We will focus on why the fundraising position is important, the fundamentals of fundraising, and some fundraising ideas. It seems obvious why fundraising is important: to raise funds for needed items, services, and programs. Some PTAs call this position ways and means or stewardship to point out that this role responsibly raises money as a means to an end. The fulfillment of the PTA mission often relies on successful fundraising each year, but it is imperative that the PTA's primary emphasis be on promoting the PTA's mission, vision, and purposes, not on fundraising. Mission-driven fundraising is key. Every PTA should begin the year with specific goals aligned with the PTA's mission and should also consider the principal's goals. They can then determine the funds needed to accomplish these goals and which fundraisers will work best. Fundraisers are never conducted to raise money for which no use has been planned. The most successful fundraisers are those where the PTA members and the school community understand why the funds are being raised. Fundraisers can be about more than making money for the PTA. They can also be a part of a program that supports students or parents. A couple of examples include walkathons, a healthy lifestyle program that raises money for the PTA, and a fall carnival, a community event that generally also includes a fundraising component through ticket sales. Knowing that you will be making fundraising reports, collecting money, and possibly spending money on the fundraisers you plan, you may also want to consider taking the Treasurer training or reviewing the Treasurer Resource Guide as well. In addition to the executive board member responsibilities you learned about in the boardsmanship course, there are duties that are specific to you as the fundraising chair. Appoint committee members with the approval of the executive board and delegate to those committee members. This is huge. You can be so much more impactful with the committee, and you can train your successors. Research and determine the best fundraisers for the PTA. All fundraisers must be approved by the membership. Fundraiser can be listed individually on the budget presented to membership for approval, or if listed as one line item, a separate vote must be taken on each fundraiser. Work with the treasurer to ensure the PTA has purchased appropriate insurance for any losses or liabilities related to your fundraising events. Comply with local, state, and federal laws regarding fundraisers. If the fundraiser will be held on school property, also ensure you comply with any school district rules. Ensure the executive board has approved and the president has signed any contract or agreement for fundraisers. Work with the executive board to declare sales tax-free days and communicate sales tax information clearly to the treasurer when making deposits. Ensure that all money is counted by at least 2 people and verified utilizing a deposit form. Submit the form and the money to the treasurer promptly so that it can be deposited in a PTA account. Cash collected should not be used to make purchases or reimburse individuals for items purchased. Money should never be taken home or deposited in a personal bank account. Ensure all fundraising-related bills are paid by completing a funds request form and submitting the associated receipts or invoices to the treasurer. Report all income, expenses, and profit from the fundraising event to the executive board and membership at the meeting immediately following the fundraiser. PTA funds are used to promote PTA purposes. Money must be raised ethically, recorded accurately, and spent wisely. Some functions for which funds should be budgeted include advocacy. Remember, our mission is to advocate for all children. Programs. There can be programs for teachers, parents, and students. These programs should fulfill one of the purposes of the PTA. Leadership training. A well-trained leader makes a huge difference in the success of your PTA. Insurance. To be properly covered in case of losses or accidents. Awards. This can include awards for students, teachers, or members, and other activities your PTA membership approves. When setting fundraising goals, consider the following. Did you carry over more or less money than usual from the prior year? How much do you need to fundraise to support the PTA's plans for the year? Raising more money than needed can lead to donor and volunteer burnout and members questioning why they should help with future fundraising. Have your PTA program plans changed? Do the fundraising goals reflect PTA's mission and purpose? Anytime fundraising plans change, the budget needs to be amended with membership approval. It is recommended that PTAs use the 3 programs to 1 fundraiser guideline when planning the year's activities. For every fundraising activity, there should be at least 3 non-fundraising projects aimed at promoting one of the 6 purposes of PTA. To promote the welfare of children and youth in home, school, places of worship, and throughout the community. To raise the standards of home life. To advocate for laws that further the education, physical and mental health, welfare, and safety of children and youth. To promote the collaboration and engagement of families and educators in the education of children and youth. To engage the public in united efforts to secure the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and social well-being of all children and youth, and to advocate for fiscal responsibility regarding public tax dollars in public education funding. When planning fundraisers, there are a few important guidelines regarding member and student participation. The Executive Board should use caution when considering a PTA member's business for a fundraiser. At a minimum, Texas PTA recommends the PTA receive 2 additional bids for consideration in addition to the member's bid. For more information, see the Confidentiality, Ethics, and Conflict of Interest Agreement. The PTA Executive Board selects and approves fundraisers to preclude any potential conflict of interest before presenting fundraising ideas to the membership for approval. Children must never be placed in a position of risk to further any fundraising project. PTAs should refrain from organizing and participating in any fundraising activity that may require a child to go door to door without adult supervision, and award programs should, if at all possible, thank and award all families for their help and participation, not just a few top sellers. The time-tested way to figure out what needs to be done by when is to work backward from the day of the fundraiser. List all of the steps. Create an actual calendar once you have worked out what needs to be done. Make sure to list the date the task will begin and the date the task will end. Remember, one person is not a committee. Invite people to join your committee. Subcommittees might be formed to handle meals or refreshments, decorations, awards, and auction items or donations. Schedule regular committee meetings, allowing everyone to report their progress and any difficulties they may be facing. Promotions are advertising you arrange or pay for yourself, such as posters and invitations. Publicity is media reporting. Promoting and publicizing your fundraiser tells your members and supporters about it. Your newsletter, morning announcements, and website should generate excitement about the fundraising in advance, mentioning the date, location, and contact person for more information or volunteer opportunities. Consider placing announcements in the local newspaper, the school website, and on social media, X, Facebook, X, Instagram. When using a third party for fundraising, the PTA should have a signed contract. A contract protects the PTA and the fundraising company by having all major decisions in writing. With a contractual agreement, all parties assume responsibility for complying with the terms, but the PTA also begins the fundraising project with a clear understanding of who handles what. When reviewing a fundraising contract, be sure to double-check all the numbers. Are the costs, percentages, and other details the same as those you agreed on? Ensure all of the desired services are included and who covers these services. Are the approved promotional materials listed? Are payment and product delivery dates included and consistent with your verbal agreement? Is there a clause covering the procedure for handling damaged, unsold, or returned merchandise? Ensure the contract is an agreement between 2 organizations, not 2 individuals. A PTA contract should be reviewed and approved by the Executive Board and signed by the President. When signing contracts, the signer adds their title after their name to show they are signing for the PTA and not as an individual. In addition to ensuring a contract has all important aspects of the fundraisers mentioned in writing, it is important that the PTA have insurance to cover possible claims. The 2 common types of claims are product liability, PTAs should always be concerned when a fundraiser involves selling a product. If selling a product for a fundraising company, ensure the contract covers the PTA for any product liability claims. Personal injury claims, remember, anyone can be injured during a fundraiser, and they could hold the PTA responsible. If using a fundraising company for your PTA's fundraiser, make sure any steps in using equipment are fully followed, or their insurance may not cover your PTA. If your PTA will be responsible for injury claims, work with your treasurer to make sure the PTA has adequate general liability insurance. AIM Insurance provides low-cost insurance to PTAs. General liability insurance covers the PTA if the PTA is sued for injuries that occur at a PTA-sponsored event. Property insurance covers PTA-owned property or other people's property that is in the PTA's care, custody, or control that is damaged or lost due to theft or natural hazards. Embezzlement or bond insurance is important if your volunteers will be handling cash. This insurance covers losses your PTA has from theft, fraud, or embezzlement. Direct donation drives can be a time-efficient and cost-effective way to raise the additional funds your PTA needs. Offering a single, direct fundraiser may work well in communities experiencing giving fatigue from too many events. Don't forget to ask individual donors to check with their employers to see if they provide a match for donations. PTAs may offer sponsorships or partnerships in return for intangible benefits. For example, a $250 sponsorship may include a company's logo and name in its monthly newsletter, a banner on the school fence, and a post on its social media site. PTAs often provide tiers of sponsorships based on donation levels. Grant funds can support PTAs in running a program or making it accessible to all students. Unlike most donations, grants are typically linked to a particular project. To receive most grants, you will have to identify a need, develop a plan, and be prepared to report back on how you used the money and what you achieved. Some sources of PTA grants include the National and Texas PTA, retail stores, and private foundations. We'll discuss thanking donors and sponsors in just a bit. Many PTAs choose to sell products to help raise funds for their PTA. Your PTA may decide to purchase and sell a product directly or may choose to hire a third-party fundraising company. Examples of direct product selling would include spiritware sales or concession sales. Catalog sales and book fairs are two common sales in which a fundraising company is involved. Many items that PTAs sell are taxable to the purchaser, and the PTA must collect sales tax. Before committing to a product sale fundraiser, check with your PTA's treasurer to ensure that the PTA has a sales tax permit or that the PTA can designate the sale as a tax-free day. To ensure your PTA is collecting sales tax correctly, consult with your PTA's treasurer and review the state sales tax section of the Treasurer Resource Guide. Another popular fundraiser involves rewards and rebates from national and local businesses. These types of fundraisers usually require little time and investment from the participants. Examples include the Benefit app, Box Tops for Education, and the Safeway/Randall's grocery stores. Check out company websites for more information. To ensure the PTA will receive the rebates, verify that the company allows PTAs to participate. Consider fundraisers that build your community and help your students and families have fun together. Some ideas include an art class, car decals, a carnival or fair, readathons, restaurant nights, walkathons, and much more. PTAs can sponsor projects and events as long as proper procedures are followed. The PTA can host a movie night where admission is charged, or admission is free, and concessions are sold. In either case, a movie license is required even if the PTA, school, or a parent owns a DVD of the movie being shown. If a school already has a movie license and the movie is shown on school property, the PTA is covered by the school's movie license. Many PTAs run successful auctions as a fundraiser. The key to holding an auction is to ensure it is part of a fun event welcoming to all members and those in the community. Your auction can be a silent auction, live auction, or both. If items in the auction are taxable, consider using one of the PTA's 2 tax-free days for the auction. If a tax-free day is not established, the PTA must have a sales tax permit and collect and remit sales tax on all taxable items. Please consult the Treasurer Resource Guide and your PTA's treasurer for more information. Don't forget to thank your donors, winning bidders, and volunteers. Donors and winning bidders will need a tax acknowledgement required by the IRS for them to claim the donation. More information on tax acknowledgement will be discussed in a moment. Commercial co-venturing occurs when a business advertises a cooperative fundraising effort. A portion of their sales is forwarded to the PTA as a gift. An example might be that an insurance agent agrees to pay your PTA a certain amount for each family who signs up with them. Given the PTA's non-commercial policy, the PTA must refrain from active promotion or marketing of the business's products or services and do no more than inform members of the agreement. PTAs may hold annual special events, such as after-graduation lock-ins, after-prom lock-ins, or grade-level banquets. If the event occurs only once, as in the case of a campus anniversary or rededication ceremony, the executive board creates a special committee. PTAs must consider all the regulations before committing to a bingo event and avoid participation unless they can assure complete compliance. A 501(c) tax-exempt, non-profit organization that has been in existence for at least 3 years may apply for a license to hold a bingo event in Texas. A license is still required even if the games are just for fun, where no entry fees are collected. PTAs need to complete an application for temporary bingo occasions for non-licensed organizations if they proceed with the process. The Texas Lottery Commission must receive the application and all attachments at least 30 days before the event. Detailed rules may be obtained from the Texas Lottery Commission. Raffles are defined as the award of one or more prizes by chance at a single occasion among a single pool or group of persons who have paid or promised to pay a thing of value for a ticket that represents a chance to win a prize. The Charitable Raffle Enabling Act permits and regulates raffles. A non-profit organization must exist for at least 3 years before it can conduct a raffle. A license is not required. The Texas Attorney General provides the regulations that must be followed. The IRS also has requirements the PTA must follow for raffles. These include obtaining a Form 5754 from each winner, a W-2G if the value of a raffle prize exceeds $600 or the raffle item's value is at least 300 times the value of an individual ticket, and collecting 25% regular gambling withholding on the value of the raffle prize if the prize is worth more than $5,000. More details on these IRS regulations can be found on the IRS website. If you are planning to fundraise by asking for monetary or physical donations, sponsorships, or grants, the individual or business will likely want proof that you are a nonprofit and that their donations are tax deductible. Council and local PTAs don't have individual determination letters because they are under the Texas PTA Group exemption. PTAs should provide the individual or business with a copy of Texas PTA's IRS determination letter and a copy of the PTA's letter of good standing. You can request these items by emailing leadengagement@texter.org and providing your PTA name, city, Texas PTA ID number, and your contact information. In order to receive a letter of good standing, the PTA must have met the requirements in the standards of affiliation found in your bylaws. PTAs should always thank their donors, but in some instances, the IRS requires the PTA to provide a tax acknowledgement to the donor or the donor to complete a form. For a monetary donation of more than $250, the PTA must provide an acknowledgement, including PTA name, amount of money donated, date of the contribution, and a statement regarding whether any goods or services were received in return for the donation or sponsorship. A good faith estimate of the value must be provided if goods or services were provided. If goods or services are provided in exchange for a donation of more than $75, the PTA must provide a receipt to the donor that states the amount of the donation, a description of the goods/services provided, and a good faith estimate of its value. If a contributor donates something other than money, in-kind goods, the donor must complete Form 8283. If the in-kind donation is over $5,000, the donor must have the PTA sign Form 8283 to acknowledge the donation. Donors may also request an acknowledgement for smaller donations, particularly if they are made in cash rather than by check or credit/debit card. Sample tax acknowledgement letters can be found on the Treasurer's webpage. Your council PTA and field service representative are excellent and convenient resources for you. Texas PTA staff and volunteer leaders are here to answer any of your questions regarding your position. Our toll-free number is 1-800-TALK-PTA or email us directly. The Texas PTA Treasurer webpage contains many useful resources that are available to PTA members, including the Treasurer Resource Guide. You can reach the Texas PTA Finance Department at finance@texta.org and the Texas PTA Treasurer at treasurer@texta.org. National PTA's website, www.pta.org, is another valuable resource. Thank you for your time and attention. I hope that this training has been beneficial, and it will make your work in PTA easier and more enjoyable. If you have any questions in the future, please know that your field service representative and council leaders are always ready to help.